You know what would be fun? A talk show. Today we have Majestic Shreya doing a talk show with the special guest, Mr. Vineet sir. Over to you, Shreya. But before that, I would like to share a video.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shreya Kataria, attending this workshop from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. I'm 13 years of age and I study at St. Michael's School, Ahmednagar in 8th grade.
Shreya, are you ready with your wonderful questions?
Yes, Ashvi, but the video was really very wonderful. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Karak Chai with Gurukul Drona, one of the most palatial talk shows held across the world. And I'm Shreya Kataria, your host for the evening. What is Karak Chai? Here we invite different celebrities, personalities, entrepreneurs from across the world and have thodi meaty, thodi khatti, thodi chatpati, thodi masaledar chit chat with them all. And today I'm going to introduce you all to a very amusing personality. He was the past president of Roundtable India. He is a motivational speaker and an adept orator. He is a businessman, an investor, an industrial automation consultant, and loves traveling around the world. And now, everyone, fast fetch your cup of teas because now it's time to invite him on the stage. Everyone, please invite the superlative personality, Mr. Vineet Parekh, with a round loud of applause. Good evening, sir, and welcome to Karak Chai.
Good evening.
So
Thank you for having me here.
we're so privileged to have you here.
Privilege is mine. In fact, looking at all of you and the wonderful presentations that you are giving, I just so wish that I knew even a little bit about it when I was your age.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. I think we should not waste time because our audience is really very eager. And so we start with the question and answer round. So we know that you were the past president of Roundtable India. But what exactly is Roundtable India?
Roundtable is a worldwide organization where young men, obviously young in context with all of you all is nothing, it's old men, but so-called young men uh, get together and do community service activities, help the society, and also socialize within themselves, making bonds of friendship and developing themselves personally.
That is a really great organization, and we wish all the best to the Roundtable India. So, being the past president of Roundtable India in 2012, what all challenges have you faced?
Challenges were many, but the most important challenge that when you take over such a role or such a position, is the proximity of time. You have only 1 year to complete all that is in your mind, everything that you want to do. And that 1 year is a very short period. So that is the biggest challenge, trying to execute all your plans within a finite amount of time.
So, you have a short time, but your plans are big and you need to achieve them.
Absolutely, you got it right.
And I think you've been in a great success with it. So, has there been a situation which was really very hard to tackle, and how did you get a solution for it?
So I had a very unique situation, and there was a time when we had our board meetings. So in Roundtable, we have our board meetings where there are these officers from different areas who get together every quarter. And that was a time where online meetings, Zooms were not prevalent. You had to physically travel to different parts of the world and different parts of the country, and you organize these meetings. So we had organized such a meeting somewhere in Eastern India, And what happened was there was a core issue that had to be debated, discussed, which was highly relevant to the city in which we were organizing the meeting. And the decision that the board took was totally against the wishes of the local members of the city. And that was a very tricky situation for me personally, as well as the entire board, because while they were hosting us and we were staying at their homes, at the same time, they were absolutely unhappy with the decisions that the board was trying to take. Now, this was a situation that we were totally not comfortable being in. So here you were with people you knew, and how to get out of the situation was a challenge that I'm never going to forget. Now, how did we get out of it? The way we got out of it was we spent a few days talking to them, asking them questions, trying to understand what was exactly their problem, trying to get solutions for few of the problems, and being firm on some others. So it was like a negotiation. And today, if you look at TV, you see all these farmers' unrest. When I look at some of those unrest, in whatever little form, we get an experience when something like this happens in organizations like Roundtable. So I think that was the biggest challenge that I faced, and that was a great learning.
So, as we see, life is a roller coaster and we face new challenges at every point of time. And I
That's true.
think you've overcome and you've come up with very good solution to tackle this problem. So, we have heard that you're a motivational speaker and also an experienced orator, and you've inspired many people through your talks. So, we would love if you give us some interesting facts that would keep us highly motivated and wouldn't let us lose our self esteem.
So to be motivated, you need your own goals. You need to have, today all of you have gone through this level 3 of program. You could have easily dropped out after level 1. You went towards level 2. You could have dropped out after level 2. You went on to do level 3. Now something motivated you to keep going. Your mentor Narendra said that you were on time, you were before time, and that was the level of motivation that this batch had. Now, what was the reason? Is because you were passionate about this subject of public speaking. So, passion is very, very important. You have to be passionate. And how do you develop passion? Is when you have goals, when there is something that you really want to go after. So, have goals. I see you are a sports person. I saw you, one of your pictures with the medal. Are you into gymnastics?
Yes, sir. I'm into.
One. So to get up in the morning, go for practice, I'm sure there must be times when you didn't want to go for your practice, but you had to. Now, this is when you are motivated. It's that medal, it's that recognition, it's that competition that you want to stand out. So you need goals clubbed with your passion. And these goals need to be both short term as well as long term. You may have a long term goal. I want to be part of the Olympics team. And you would have a short term goal that, yes, I want to win my school competition. I want to win my district competition. I want to be selected for the national trials. So you need to have both short term and long term goals on subjects that you are highly passionate about. And once this is there, you never lose esteem. You always keep going.
So that was really very inspiring. I think when we have proper goals and when we are passionate about them, we can conquer the whole world. And that was so inspiring to hear from you. So we would like you to give some facts to our younger generation. As we see, due to the ongoing novel coronavirus, everything is become online. Is the technology making children smarter or not?
Technology is definitely making people smarter. It is giving people access to do stuff that they could never do otherwise. So, technology is not something that you can stay away with. However, excess of anything is bad, whether it is technology or whether it is sports, whether it is studies. Excess of everything is bad. So, you have to draw a balance. Now, each one is onto himself as to what that balance should be. So I don't have a right or a wrong answer for you, but I think you need to be judicious in whatever you do. spend time on technology, spend time with friends, spend time with family. I know it's a bad time. The pandemic has taken all of us indoors. So inevitably, you have to spend more time with your gadgets. I do understand, but look at the first opportunity to get out and be with others as well.
So when we draw a balance between things, we achieve something at good level. Sir, you are an industrial automation consultant and you live in Ahmedabad, if I'm right. Sir, as we know that Mr. Modi was the past CM of Gujarat. Sir, but recently there has been a news spreading up on the social media that he really did something very worse to Gujarat. So I would like to know what does the common man in street think about PM Modi?
So common man's on the street, you could have a lot of stories, both for and against on any topic. Today, if you ask people about Virat Kohli, there'll be so many people talk so well about Virat Kohli, and still there will be few others who don't talk well about Virat Kohli. So there could be a lot of stories, lot of opinions. Some of their opinions are true. So if I have a first-hand knowledge, working knowledge, then I would give you a story. And because you are my friend, you would believe on my story because you are assuming that what I tell you is true. Now, I could be affected by some of the decisions in my personal life or in my business, and that could have opinionated my thoughts. However, and at the end of the day, it's the larger mass in a democracy that decides what is good or bad for the society. And that's why you have elections, and that's why we believe in a democracy. It's not about individual stories, it's not about what you read in newspapers, it's not about what you see in TVs. Definitely, that does influence your thoughts, but at the end of the day, in a democracy, what really happens is who wins the elections. And the fact that somebody wins elections, we are assuming means that that person is more popular than the other. So today, I might be a great follower of President Trump, but at the end of the day, if he loses an election and if Joe Biden goes on to win the election, I have no choice but to say that Joe Biden is more popular than Donald Trump. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. So from your answer, we get to know that there are always two sides of a thing, and it is not possible for a person to always stick to one end. We have to change our mind sometime. Sir, you're also a business leader and investor. So due to the deadly pandemic, the whole country was in a lockdown. The businesses had shut, and there was a high scale unemployment. But the share market was in a high pace. Sir, do you think that it was the correct time to invest? Sir, I'm being a common man, I'm really confused. Like, what all was happening in the share market?
So what happened in February, in March? People didn't know the extent of the pandemic. How bad? Is it going to be a tsunami or is it just going to be a heavy rains? We had no idea. Today, 8 months down the line, 10 months down the line, people have understood the extent of the pandemic and how it is spreading. So in March, the stock market went down really bad was because people thought that we are in the middle of a tsunami. But slowly by slowly they realized that it's probably not that bad, and there is a lot of other activities that are possible. It's not that the entire economy is shut down. There are things that you can do online, there are services that you can give online, uh, there are businesses that can work maybe a little slow, but that can work. Restaurants that we thought that will never open have opened few months down the line. So as people adjust to the shock, they start realizing that this is not as bad as it seemed, and we are going to get back to life sooner than we thought. And that is why the stock market reacts a little faster than when actually it really happens. And that's why you see the stock market going up. And another thing, what has happened is during the pandemic, everybody has cut costs. And they have realized that even after cutting costs, they are able to run their business in different ways. And when you have this new learning, some of it becomes a permanent learning. So even when things become normal, that learning is still implemented. So overall, the costs of various companies have gone down because of the innovative methods that they have adopted. So is it a good time to invest in business? I think it's always a good time to invest in business.
So that was really a great answer, and I think we all got to learn a lot from it. So now we've had a lot of discussion on serious things. So I'll ask you a rather funny question. So you're a happily married couple, and you really love traveling around the world. So when you visit a place, your fan followers, especially the girls, jump over to take a selfie with you. So, sir, when your wife comes to know about this, does she fight with you or she reacts normally?
No, so first thing I do whenever I capture any selfies, the first copy goes to her. So that way there is no other reward. But giving you a serious answer, most of my travels were within the fraternity of Roundtable. And as an organization, because of the time that I've spent in that organization and the level of travel that I did, most of the places I had friends and, in fact, very close friends. So when you are actually taking selfies, you are taking selfies with people with whom you are traveling. You are carrying out certain activities. You are going out on projects, and those in turn become your friends. And most of the people are known to you personally. So when you have this circle of trust with people, that's when there is a trust. It same happens with your parents. When you go out with your friends and when you are pictures with your friends that your parents see, if these are friends that are known to your parents, there is a circle of trust. When there is this circle of trust, automatically nobody feels bad or nobody takes it otherwise. So developing that trust and having and being with people that you know makes a huge amount of difference.
That was a really great answer, sir. I was really amused listening to you. So after listening to you, our audience is really very keen to ask you questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I pass the stage to you. Vineet sir is here with us only for a short period of time. So, if you have any questions, this is a very good opportunity to grab on. So, he will be answering your questions in the next 5 minutes. Please raise your hands if you have any question for him.
Come on, audience and the participants. This is the time to ask question to Vineet sir. Vineet sir is from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and he is a very, very big traveler. And this is the time to ask questions. Please ask him your question now. Anything on business or on politics or on roundtabling, community service, anything that you wish to ask, please go ahead.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, you have traveled so many countries so far in your roundtable experience. So, sir, which is your favorite country till now?
Hi, Agamveer. I think that's a wonderful question. Unfortunately, the world is so beautiful and it's impossible to zero down on one country that you say is my best country, my favorite country. Every place that I've gone to, I have traveled to nearly 32 different countries. And every place that I've traveled, I have promised myself I'm going to come back here again, but I keep choosing new destinations, and unfortunately, I've not been able to go revisit them. But the world is beautiful. If you look at Southeast Asia, countries like Singapore, Thailand, and all these countries, Malaysia, they are beautiful. They have their own charm. India itself has great amount of tourism that you can follow. You go to Europe, you go to Eastern Europe, Middle East, Africa, America, South America. Each continent is so beautiful that travel itself gives you so much learning, no matter where you go. I recently visited one country called Moldova. This was last year in September. Moldova is the least visited European country. When somebody told me that there is this tour going to Moldova and this is what the activities are planned, I had to first go and look up because being an avid traveler, I'd never heard of the country called Moldova. It's a neighboring country to Romania. But my travel over there, I stayed there for close to a week, and it was such a beautiful country. We had language problems, but people were so accommodative, and there was great new things that I loved by visiting a country like Moldova. So every country is beautiful, every country is special. You need to be a little open-minded. You should be willing to rough it out, and each destination teaches you new things.
So the mantra is keep traveling, see the beautiful world around you. Okay, the life is short, friends. Keep traveling and see the world. That's the mantra coming from Vineet sir. Okay, anybody else wants to ask a question? Please go ahead. Unmute yourself, ask.
Everyone, please don't be shy to ask questions.
All right, I have a question, sir, which you had answered very politically correct in a politically correct version. One word. You are from Gujarat and our Prime Minister Modi is from Gujarat. Okay, just one word. Do the people in Gujarat, they love him or they don't?
No, obviously, Narendra Modi is a very popular leader in Gujarat. That's why he was a chief minister for multiple terms. That's why he gets a thumping majority uh, when there are any elections happening across India. Gujarat always votes in his favor. So these are very black and white calls that you get on a particular leader. Apart from that, obviously everybody has a right to an opinion, and I'm sure nobody's perfect. There could be issues with everybody, and I'm sure there are issues with everybody.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Shreya.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering all our questions patiently. Sir, we all just love the way you answer questions. You are technical at every point. And sir, and you explain and elaborate it to us very nicely. And I think that's the best skill in an experienced orator. Thank you so much, sir, for having some time for us in this Correct Shy talk show. And I'm so lucky that I got an opportunity to speak with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Shreya. I need to be honest. I had these butterflies in my stomach before this program started because this is the age band with which I had never interacted with. So I wasn't sure what kind of questions I'm going to get in the question answer time, and I didn't want to, be too technical where I could probably not able something that's not able to digest by the audience here. At the same time, I have to respect the intelligence of the generation today, so I couldn't keep my answers too superficial as well. So I was really concerned. I was nervous, and thank you for making me feel so comfortable.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. That's a privilege for us.
Thank you. And thank you, Narendra, for inviting me to interact with the wonderful participants that you
Thank you,
have.
Vineet sir. The honor is ours for your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shreya, for such an amazing talk show. And a big round of applause to Vineet sir. Thank you so much for being with us today.